Welcome to Faulty Lanterns Miniso Edition, where I myself go on rants. This particular segment is called V.A.M.P. Vampire Film Acceptance of Movies of Poor Quality. I'm a huge fan of vampire lore. Anybody else out there that also is probably knows how shitty vampire films can be. So that's why I came up with this kind of separate rating system to just hold vampire films in their own regard. A terrible vampire film compared to Citizen Kane is hot garbage. But a terrible vampire film compared to a piece of shit that sparkles when it's in the sun isn't half bad. Today's episode is about the 1991 Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. Fucking love this film. Yeah, so it's just starting off, go through the normal order of things. Let's see. They have the kind of true fangs that they kind of just appear, but they're not excessive. So they're not like switchblade knives. For teeth, so I gave it probably a +1, 0 to +1. It's kind of on the fence on that one. The fact of Gary Oldman, playing the intellectual Dracula, always plus on that side. The eating habits, it's puncture, cleanup. It's very like clean bites, but then it's also very bloody, which that's bonus points for being bloody. See the turning process, it's the classic fed and be fed, which just like the overall best way to do it. It's a pretty fast process, seems like. The possibility of turning back, it's only after the master's death. Too little too late for Lucy though, poor Lucy. Healing factor, after feeding they seem to heal. So there's no ability to flight unless they're transformed, which at least that just maybe applies to Dracula. The other vampires in it seem to be different, but so transformed he can fly, which is fine, and also it's the ability of levitation, floating, which is fine as well. The zoomies, the fact that they don't like the way they don't show it, and the way it's just the whole film, the dreamlike qualities of it. I don't think there's a film, in my opinion, that captures the feeling of dream and like dreaming as well as Bram Stoker's Dracula. Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula, but that's kind of the same, I think, with the zoomies. It's not just the way they play it off is great. Let's go through their weaknesses. Alright, so don't have garlic, have holy water, and the execution is great. They don't have the fear of water. They do have the cross, and the execution is also great. They don't mention silver, I don't think. Kind of makes it melt into, but yeah, no, I don't think they really mention silver in particular. But they definitely have the stake, execution once again. Definitely have the beheading, which is one of the best executions of a execution. Sunlight. Why did I say they don't have it? They definitely have the sunlight. Oh, well, I guess they have it and they don't have it. I mean, they don't have it as in Gary Oldman's just walking around in London, no big deal during the day, but they have like a clever reason why. So that's fine. But yeah, they also definitely have it because that's how they get them. They don't have the whole inviting in thing, but it's implied, I guess. Hollowed ground, coffins, they have the coffins, definitely execute the coffins well, and the reflections, once again, they have it, and it's executed well. I don't think I gave enough points for that. 1, 2. Anyways, so the morality, I do like that it is definitely the natural order of things, but then so that's great, and I prefer that. But then they also they're more on the depression side of, he's pretty sad to be a vampire, which I get it, but also not my favorite. But it's not negative points. It makes sense to the story, but yeah. And then there is possibility of daywalkers, but good reason. The vampire villain, which is Gary Oldman, he's amazing. That's the rating standard for my little thing. Is he Gary Oldman? Well, but also he's kind of the vampire lead. But either way, I mean, I say that both those categories deserve top points because it's a fucking great film. The vampire story type is kind of the classic. Every Dracula typically is this one, is the Romeo and Juliet, which is not my favorite, definitely not the worst. So plus 2 points. As we enjoy a good Romeo and Juliet. So let's think. Bonus points. We got the Renfield character. There's definitely 3 or more great characters, easily. The flashbacks and backstory, fucking love that. And even the way that opening scene is shot, just I don't know, leaves a lot to the imagination, but once again, just hitting on that dreamlike qualities. Yeah, and without, let's see, definitely very, very sexy film. The tone of the entire film is just, yeah, with that back to my dreamlike stuff, I just fucking love that. Very quotable, I think, especially Anthony Hopkins. He's very quotable. They do well on executing the cravings, the vampire cravings they have. It's a good story. Is it a remake? I mean, yes and no. He's not quite Bela Lugosi, Dracula, but it is a remake, I guess. But it's so, you know, I'd better take off for that because it stands alone, I think. And then the score, fucking love that score. It's one of the few I own, and yeah, plus points for that. Watchability, definitely always watch it. I watch it all the time, and it's amazing. Definitely think some bonus points just to mention of things. I mean, like the fact that the film is, I mean, all-star cast, amazing cast, amazing director, everything about it. Just production was on point. And then the fact, you know how good this film is. If love Keanu Reeves, but probably one of his worst performances, and his English accent, terrible. But the fact that you can still have his god-awful performance and still have this amazing film that just surpasses that. Like, yeah, obviously if somebody was a better Jonathan Hawker, it would be a better film, but the fact that doesn't take it down is note to itself of how great it is. I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but yeah, just interesting that even his performance couldn't ruin this film. But yeah, and I just realized the last time I was watching it, they had the 35th anniversary, 35th? One of those. They just had that play at the local cinema here, and when watching that, I realized the Rocketeer is in it. I didn't realize he was the Texan. But anyways, yeah, so Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula, 1991, I gave it an 82, which is technically my best so far. I'm curious to see how my other childhood favorites rank up to that, because I'm not being biased. But 82, pretty great. Thanks.